Chapter 12. The people of Masakato's village moved about their cold tasks under a gray sky filled with the first falling flakes of winter. Clovis watched the villagers through the crack in the sliding door to his secret room and tried to see what Revicept saw in them. If they were obedient subjects and a docile, productive people as Revicepts had described them during their long journey, then he would need to spark them into flame in order to forge them into a fighting force for his friend. He watched the women first. They were always up the earliest, fetching water from the well in the same sequence each morning. The youngest wives arrived first and filled their wooden buckets, carrying them at the ends of green bamboo poles that arced over their supporting backs. By the time the older wives were at the well, the younger ones were already feeding chickens and collecting eggs. The older men emerged next, their lean and sinewy bodies wrapped tightly in strips of brown cloth to combat the cold. He watched two men meet at the well, where they spoke for a while before moving to light the forge at the far end of the village. The raging fire beckoned younger men from their beds, and they gathered and rotated around its warmth before moving off to yoke animals and tend distant fields. The old men who tended the forge fire poured tea freely from a giant iron kettle cradled above the red flames. Clovis studied the men as they drank their tea and planned their days. They were farmers, with a few tradesmen mixed in. He looked at their physical condition. Their bodies were fit from their labors and would mold well into soldiers. He studied their interactions, who stood closest to the fire, who had smaller circles of men around them, who started and led a conversation, who bowed to whom. Clovis watched day after day until he had identified possible captains and lieutenants. He noticed the weak ones who would need more training time, and he singled out the unyielding personalities he might need to tame or break. He saw the camaraderie between them as the first men said their goodbyes before moving away to start their tasks. Eventually, only 4 younger men remained at the forge. Thicker in arm and shoulder than the others, they sorted out their hammers and tongs as the fire settled into working embers.